Hey everyone, we got next season coming up, No Stone Unturned, and it's one that we designed. So this time, you guys are going to be the judge of whether it's good or not, and let's check it out. So we got reports that some of the strongest troops have been lost at sea, and we'll just say straight up that we're going to have no Seekers, no Bombers, no Rocket Choppas, and no Heavy Choppas next season. So does that mean it's going to be a boring Heavy Zuka end meta? Well, luckily, we have some prototroop action next season. And that last line right there, prove your worth as a commander and lead with the heart of stone. But we can check right here, already at 2 ER, everyone's gonna start with speed serum, and that's always fun. And we're starting with mechs. At 2 ER we also have Rainmakers and Zooks, both options you can open. In the starting buildings, shock launchers, boom cannons. Now for those who have never played with a landing craft boost, basically makes the capacity a bit more. And normally any big troops like Rainmakers, mechs, or normally the Choppas, you only have one per boat. But if you max out your landing crafts and then get this landing craft boost, now you can have two per boat. So seeing a lot more of these big troops on the field this season. Got a note right here, if you want a lot of big troops, you can have a lot of GBE, maybe get 60% troop damage shock mines. And we'll even show with these deck layouts, they're all going to be a little bit strange because there's going to be one ramp where you can drop troops, but they can't really move too far. So taking advantage of maybe long range stuff like Rainmakers to maybe shoot across the gap. Like we'll show this replay right here. One option is using Rainmakers to shoot across the gap. You already get some shock launchers, boom cannons there. But the way it's designed is even an engine on the very far corner, if you really want, they can still shoot it across. Because Rainmakers have the longest range in the game, and with Serum, make them even faster. And that isn't the only option too. If you want, you can use straight up Zukas, because it means you have more GB to use a bunch of Serums, make them super fast. Probably just watch out for some shock mines, but at 2 ER there's only really shock launchers and shock mines, so can still just go straight to the ER and watch them melt. But that's the main idea of the deck layouts you're about to see. A lot of them with that one ramp, if you do ground troops then they're not going to go for a long time unless they have the range to reach across. And also a quick side note, if you are going to buy anything in the shop like diamonds, instant training, would appreciate using creator code. And if you want to support this channel, you can use code Stoneheart. But going back to the tree, seeing what's next, that's pretty much 2 ER. We can see what 3 ER looks like. Now we still have this right ramp where ground troops can't fully cross, but it really opens up on this side. 3 you have Crystal Shield, an ability that maybe counters some other defenses like mortars later on. Got some troop health medics if you want, another boost node, so if you want some troop health building damage or just some more GBE. Rook is right there, got more GBE, cannons right there. And we might see a lot of multi-nodes this season. So here you got some mortars, boom cannon, shock launchers, some protos right there. And because of that landing craft boost, if you want you can have 16 Scorchers or 16 Lasertrons. It's really your pick of whichever way you want to do your hits. And along with all these troops, you got a troop boost right there, Lasertron, Rainmaker, or Scorcher. It doesn't mean you have to get one of those if you want to move to 4 ER, but since we already got Rainmakers, then go ahead and open that up. And then going from 3 straight into 4 ER, it kind of changes a bit. Now the left ramp is the one where ground troops can't fully cross, but the right ramp opens up, so who knows what kind of bases we're going to see. But we'll just show one more mock hit right now, seeing an example of like how troops can interact with it. But before that, just showing what is at 4 ER. So you start with snipers. If you want to go left, there's even some more snipers or rockets. But the other troop that you can have 16 of is going to be critter cannons. And if you do max it out, you get a lot more critters per burst. I think the max is right here, 8 of them, so you can just pretty much throw a full critter every few seconds. And later on at 4, there's a medkit, maybe a sky shield over here. Finally have Rudy, it's been like 3 or 4 seasons. But now we'll go ahead and show that hit. This one being I think pretty much a max 4 ER, got mines and everything. But even if you put ERs kind of deep in the base, you can put Rainmakers on one side, Critter Cannons and Zooks on another, speed up everyone, got a lot of GB to work with. And it's just your pick, how you want to go with the base. Rainmakers have so much range that they can go on that side, with like a million critters everywhere else. Again, no clue if these are going to be even remotely close to the bases we're going to see, but just showing that this is the point of those deck layouts. Having those troops with long ranges like Rainmakers, sometimes Critter Cannons, shooting across the gap. Maybe room for a lot of fast hits, but guess we'll find out in the season. And also, just because we designed the season, we don't really know exactly what's going to be the meta. Just hope it's crazy enough to be pretty fun. But now that we saw 4 ER, let's check out 5. Going from 4, 5 ER has a bit of a different ramp. Like maybe some troops can shoot across if there's a building right there, and it opens up more on the top side. And we're still not done with our proto troops, because right after you go to 5 ER, you get some clone rifles. Machine guns are kinda late in the tree, so you might think how strong critter cannons are at 4 ER. And then if you want some more troop health, our first and only building damage of the season, and even an ability node. Got the crystal critters, normal critters, and the turret, which all of them now are affected by troop health and troop damage. So if you want a critter fest, you can get more of them right here. One multi-node with some boom cannons or machine guns, and a proto behind tanks. And if you've been paying attention, we have a lot of GB this season. So I think if you already maxed this guy out, there's one at 5 ER, one at 4 ER, another one at 3 ER, and 2 multi-nodes. You could have 250 GB this season. So hopefully enough to drop all the troops, even down to 16 Scorchers and use enough serums and all that other stuff. But now later on, after 5 ER, we do have 6 ER, so let's look at the deck layout. It's kind of a bit different. You can have like this dead end going this side, but again with this left ramp, you have the ability to put long range troops to maybe kill some buildings. Otherwise it's kind of opened up. But once you do go 6 ER, you have access to defib. Because there's no normal rifles this season, if you just do defib right away, it's boring level 1 rifles. So maybe you have to let your clone rifles die to really bring them back. Or just use it as like a budget Kavan. Another proto troop, we got Shotgunneers. It's been quite a while since we had them, and who knows, maybe they're gonna be useful. And we have Flames really late in the tree. Really the best counters for critters, but have them right here at 6 ER. And got one proto right here, critter launchers and another multi-node, maybe 6 snipers. But moving on into 6 ER, another ability node, so here both artillery, barrage, or drones, all gonna be maxed out. Though you can only have one of them. So if you choose barrage, you have no art for the season. If you choose drones, there's no barrage or artillery. So it's kind of deciding that which one's gonna be best. Here we can just take barrage because why not? And then between smoke and boom mines, got another proto here. This one's got a lot of them. 2 Flotties, 3 Simmos, or 4 boom surprise. Knowing that even if you do take Flotties, you do have Crystal Shield this time to maybe survive the explosion. So that might be a cool meta later on. And then we got our second troop damage. And now you can see 7 ER. The last deck of the season. Maybe it kinda looks like a tree. There's a lot of different nooks and dead ends. But it's knowing that if you have those long range troops like Rainmakers or Critter Cannons, they can shoot across so many different gaps that maybe it works out. And not only that, if you were missing it last season, we are going to see lasers this time around, and some even more troop damage or building health. The last few unlocks are protos and a troop boost, maybe like a sky shield here, who knows, and doom cannon, grappler, or Simo, with the very last node being a troop boost of either lasers, clone rifles, or critter cannons. And if you do want to boost critter cannons, you do get 1 extra critter per burst, so just thinking about that. And I think with clone rifles, if you do max them, you do get less of a boost than with normal rifles. It's only about a little bit extra health or damage, but still something. And now we just went ahead and maxed out all our boosts. So you can see right there on the top left, got maybe a bit of a more offense season, only 50 building damage, 100 building health, with 50 more of both troop damage and troop health. And of course that 250 GBE, so don't think we're going to be short on using abilities and dropping troops. But let me know what you think about the season. Again, y'all are the judges this time around. But hopefully, no stone unturned is going to be a fun season. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.